It's Joe over. Mamamax bros, it's time to pack your bags and say your goodbyes slash prayers. Jump ship before you get caught up in this mess. It's mostly what a lot of people are thinking now. So I don't know if you guys have been caught up with the Mamamax situation. Mamamax, just a brief rundown of my history, if you even want to call it that, with him. Basically, criticized him for pick a side YouTube because I already saw this kind of behavior coming a mile away because it's very easy. At the time, a lot of content creators didn't want to go out against him because he still had a lot of momentum, a lot of clout, and a lot of pull at the time, again. And, you know, for the most part, he got a lot of people to bow down to his demands, so to speak. Okay, well, that was Max during Pick a Side YouTube. There was also another incident where he replicated this formula about a couple years before that. It's just funny how nobody wanted to call this guy out until it was an opportunistic time, but we'll get to that. Okay, fast forward to Max's situation with the ladies. So there are several women that came out and from what it seemed like were attempting to Me Too Mamamax. Max denied these claims, fired back. The videos have since been unlisted. I defended him during this, though it's worth noting that just because Max is royally fucked up recently doesn't mean that the women have any merit to their claims. Although, at that point, you guys kind of have to go ahead and do your own research on that. Me personally, I'm at the mindset of just because somebody fucks up something doesn't mean that right away you should believe every little bit of gossip about them. But again, I'll leave that up to your own decisions. Well, whatever you want to do. Fast forward, current day. It's gotten so much worse. It's gotten so much worse. As I said, it's a Joe Ober, Mamamax bro. So if you're still on this sinking ship, prepare to have it be thrown all the way into the abyss like the Titanic, because it is definitely over. So a quick discussion, a mega thread, if you will. I mean, you know it's bad when your own chat and the Reddit are turning against you, the Mamamax fan club. Yeah, it's just not good. So a comprehensive post about the timeline of the now privated Max stream. There's a lot of problems beforehand that Max did before this colossal mess up of a stream that he just privated. A quick TLDR of it is he wasn't really doing things as he should have. He was very juvenile. He was very, you know, basically all the things he was doing in Pick a Side YouTube got amplified. A main cause for this, from what I see, and when, you know, his guard or his shield, so to speak, were going down, is when he took shots at Moist Critical. If you guys know, in the YouTube space, you don't take shots at Moist Critical without people ending up, or a good majority, a chunk of people disliking you and just not being cool with you after. So what Max was thinking by trying to throw shots at this guy, it's another layer of delusion for, you know, the e-celeb on the internet that gets a very big head and starts sniffing their own fumes. I guess Max thought because he got other million sub channels in the past to bow to his whims that he was going to get away with this. But the pettiness of the matter just kind of overlooked the pretend seriousness of this case, which in itself was very fucking ridiculous. Max was talking about some vampire pedophile cult leader or something. It was just a fucking mess, and it was doomed to fail from the get-go. But how Max went ahead and handled this was just, it was the apocalypse in a nutshell. So first big mistake that Max does, which gives small creators and just about anybody a leg to stand on, is you dare defy the great name of Moist Critical. Personally, I think it's fucking stupid. In this instance though, I don't know, I kind of got to give it up to the sheeple and the Moist Criticals of the world, because they didn't necessarily do anything wrong. All they did was not respond to Max in due time, or the time that he expected them to answer, which really isn't that big of a deal because I'm sure Max does this as well. I know I have in the past. It's nothing personal, it's just life gets in the way. So why Max got a hissy fit over the entire thing is fucking ridiculous. And this is coming from a guy that's been critical of Moist Critical, no pun intended. You know, I think the guy lies quite often. I pointed it out in some of the videos I've made, but who cares, right? That's not how the internet works. Point is, if a person that clearly doesn't like Moist Critical and is not a fanboy, which is me, can say without a shadow of a doubt, Max, that you are in the wrong for this. Yeah, I think you're in the fucking wrong for this, pal. But anyway, to the stream discussion and the mega thread. A mega thread about Max's whole little controversy. Alright, we'll get right into it. And I'll get through this as fast as I can. So there's a comprehensive post about the timeline of the now privated Mamamax stream. Please contain discussions, yada yada yada. Very long post, yada yada yada. This all comes for the Reddit, so if you want to read it for yourself, you go to the Mamamax fan club Reddit or subreddit, whatever you call them. I don't really frequent it that much. So Max starts off by immediately addressing the mega upload. He claims that it was taken down because of the videos of pedophiles jacking off that he stored from the MyLol video. Does not acknowledge how mega upload detects objectionable content. You see how we're off to a really bad start here. Why he thought that this was necessary to do in the first place is fucking astounding. It's just amazing. Anyway, the issue and the reason behind the ban is still unclear, as his claim is unsubstantiated and directly conflicts with the mega upload's description of the ejectable materials. I know I'm pronouncing objectionable materials wrong. Relax. Okay? Alright, we're good. It's not like this is a Max situation. Right. Speaking of which, let's get on to more of the trash fire. Max brings on a new survivor named Ishmael. She is an angel, and we love her. I didn't say that, but Reddit did. Ishmael's the only redeemable person in this entire scenario. She's perfect and smart and well-spoken and calm. And props to Ishmael. It's fucking lovely. Max brings on another survivor named Ellie is brought on. She talks a lot about her experience, but not much is learned. Max remains relatively silent the entire time the new survivors are speaking. Max's friend, Mark, essentially runs the stream and asks the girls the follow-up questions because Max is too busy reading chat to himself. So, another layer of unprofessionalism just to show, right? If you guys are completely in the dark of how unprofessional his video initially was and how he handled this entire fucking situation, this stream pretty much solidified it in real time. The fact that Max is more bothered and too busy reading a fucking YouTube chat, where the majority of people are just antagonizing you. They clearly only want one thing, Max. They want you to slip up, and you're a dumbass who gave it to them. You see, when I tell you guys that you should not hold these people in high regards, you know, any e-celeb for that matter, and be your own critical thinkers and independent thinkers and stuff, this is the reason why. Because there's so many idiots out there that were on Mamamax's fucking ball sack, and they were like, this guy is great. And now, and I was saying back then, I was like, no, he's not. And then they're like, you're just a hater. You can't see the brilliance. What fucking brilliance? This is one of those things where you could have seen this shit a mile away. And of course, the sheeple, which is why I always talk down about the sheeple and I talk down about other people so frequently. It's not because it isn't unwarranted. It's because the majority of you act this way. I've seen it enough. And it's, I mean, to be fair, it's common fucking psychology, but that doesn't mean that I have to be okay with it, you know? I'll just wait for my times to be proven, my points to be proven in real time for me to be right, as I always am. And, yeah. But let's continue on, right? Let's continue on with Max's downfall, because he's so much of a dipshit, he couldn't keep it together, huh? Anyway, Max then says that the group spoke to a lawyer, and the lawyer told them flat out to not even consider a civil case against Camden. That's the guy that's the vampire cult pedo leader or something. Yeah. Or law enforcement, and that they need to actually go to Georgia and make police reports. Max says that the money that was supposed to go to the lawyers will now go to flying all of the girls to Georgia to make said reports. Max claims that Ishmael tried to call the police departments, but they were awful and unhelpful and basically blew them off. Ishmael corrected Max and said that the police were actually very helpful and kind to her, but that because she doesn't have evidence, they couldn't help her. She says that despite that, she respects the law enforcement and feels that it's not their fault that they can't pursue her case without evidence. Max rolls his eyes to this and the topic changes. Again, like I said, if you can't spot this in fucking real time, my dudes, like this is the stream. Like, you wonder why Max went ahead and privated this in the first place. It was probably because of things like this. All right, and here's the thing: there was a drastically, and I mean fucking drastically low attendance for a Mamamax stream. Like, this motherfucker went from getting like thousands of people watching his shit to then it slowly dripped down to 700 people, and then we were at 500, and then it was an all-time low yesterday of about 300 people concurrent. And for a guy that's close to 1 million and had a cult following and had, you know, he has the power of truth and justice on his side, that's pretty fucking bad. Alright, that's pretty fucking bad. And here we have the real kicker, just to summarize this whole thing. After being pressed by the chat, Max admits to having faked some of his content, including the alleged rape victim Casey from his IMVU video. Spencer and Max start getting agitated at the chat because people are starting to ask for evidence, and they begin to yell at the chat. Spencer gets so distressed that she leaves. Spencer is the original victim, I believe, of the vampire pedo cult or whatever. Then Max was, I don't know, I think he moved in with her and shit, which, if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. But yeah, that's pretty much the TLDR of this whole thing. This has gone on for already 12 minutes, and this is like pretty much the condensed version of the whole thing. Once again, if you want to go ahead and get the full recap, such as like the YouTubers that went in and confronted him, because Max thought that was a fucking good idea. But don't worry, guys, the craziness, the stupidity doesn't end there with Mamamax. Oh no, it gets so much better before we end this little nightmare of a recap. So Max decided to go ahead and, I guess, kind of subtly threaten to copyright claim or privacy report this one channel. Because I don't know. You know what? Let's just flex it here. So this is Liam, aka Lyrics. He is a up and coming commentary channel. You might know him from his reviews of the infamous Arrow Manga Sensei, which he said he reviewed just for the purposes of saying that it's bad or some shit. So that was his defense for that. And, you know, interesting, whatever, you know. Let me point out too that it's even hilarious, it even more amplified the hilarity of this situation, that Max is being owned by a guy who himself is a fucking hypocrite. Like, this Lyrics Liam guy, he was going at Max for doing reviews of anime when he himself was doing it, and it wasn't exposed up until recently. He was going at Max for doing reviews of anime that involved high schoolers, but Lyrics was doing reviews of anime that had 13-year-old animated children. So I just want to point that out there, because that's like the elephant in the room that a lot of the commentary channels are going to overlook. No, just to distribute the hypocrisy. The commentary community, this guy, and anybody that's going at Max right now, funny enough, are all major hypocrites, because they've all called anime as a whole lolly and lolicon. They are now going back on that claim recently because I exposed Lyrics for being into doing this stuff. It's just funny. Although, instead of making a double standard video and going on with this shit, which was, you know, a certain gent had exposed commentary for having a double standard when it comes to talking to minors as adults, that was beaten to death. I don't feel like doing that, because, you know, this, just pointing this out as a whole, I think it's enough. And, you know, a hypocrite getting a dunk on another hypocrite, seeing as how Max is the focus of this, we can kind of put that to the side for a second. But still, it's worth having the information that Lyrics, the guy that reviewed the 13-year-old lewd anime child that was criticizing Max for reviewing, you know, high schoolish reviews, right, is the one that's getting the dunk on Max. Like, again, how fucking pathetic can you be, Mamamax? This is so fucking bad. This is terrible. Anyway, here's the screenshots. Please note that during your recent live stream, you revealed the real name of a survivor who wished to remain anonymous. I'll tell you one thing already off the bat. I don't need to read the entirety of this because the gist of it is Max going ahead and trying to justify why he's allowed to dox people, but if you accidentally flashed a quote-unquote victim's name on the screen, it's bad and stuff. So yeah, he gives them the ability to fucking take down the name or whatever, but even at the same time, I mean, it's hypocrisy all around, really. So it's really choose what hypocrite you want to, you know, side with. Do you want to side with the hypocrites on the commentary community side, or do you want to side with the hypocrites, Mamamax and the quote-unquote victims? It's all up to you at the end of the day. Or you could take my alternative and just point and laugh at both of them, you know, because it's really much better that way. And after you point and laugh at both of them, you can go on and say that SEN is always right, because what is this, the fourth time? We just entered the new year, ladies and gentlemen, and once again I am right about another individual. So that's all what it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it is. I have no more desire in really talking about the Mamamax situation unless there are new developments, homie, that I feel is worth laughing at and pointing out. Like this one. This one was very spicy. Because I thought this was just going to be a downward trajectory for Max. I thought there's just no way this guy can outdo himself in stupidity. And holy shit, was I ever fucking wrong. Oh well. It is what it is. C'est la vie. All that good stuff. I'm gonna go and do some gaming, ladies and gentlemen. I advise you guys to do the same. Or, if you want, you can go outside and, you know, mingle or whatever the fuck you do. What do I know? Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.